Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming to this evening's Sunday Feast program. If anyone has a habit of looking at the list, the name that was given for giving the class was Nityananda Prabhu. So I'm not he. So I hope there isn't a great disappointment. There might be after the discussion, but if you're merciful, then you're showing your mercy to me. I'm not a very good public speaker. One reason is I don't know how to control my tongue. I generally speak too fast, and I speak oftentimes things that are inappropriate. But I'm hoping that everyone here is like a honeybee. You know honeybee? Honeybee can take the essence from the flower. It's a unique quality of a honeybee, so you can take the essence from it. We cannot do that. If you want to take honey from a flower, you cannot do, right? You can only look and speculate. But a bee has the power to take the essence from the flower. It's pretty incredible. So in a similar way, you can take the essence from the presentation and hopefully you can be benefited. That would be nice. I'm choosing to discuss from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Arjuna's question. When I first read this book almost 10 years ago, one of the most profound questions I thought. I had this experience. I don't know how many people here have read Bhagavad Gita. Okay, in your first reading of Bhagavad Gita, did you have this experience? I had this experience where I was reading Bhagavad Gita and I felt that Arjuna's questions were completely random. And then the answers were also completely random. I don't know if you had the experience. Krishna's speaking about something, I couldn't understand what Krishna's speaking about. And then Arjuna asked something, I'm like, that's not even related to the topic. And then Krishna gives an answer, that's not related to the question. And it was quite bewildering, but this particular question was although I couldn't see how it was related to the topic, I could appreciate the question by itself. And the question Arjuna asked here, Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? So I was having a very practical experience with that. Anyone here has a very practical experience with that? Show of hands, don't be shy. So I thought this was a very meaningful question, although I couldn't see how it was connected to the subject. I thought the question itself was meaningful. And Krishna's answer is even more meaningful, although I couldn't understand it at the time. But we'll try to discuss some aspects of the answer to this question. What prompted me to discuss from this section of Bhagavad Gita, because a mundane thought came into my head. I was thinking how to connect that to Krishna. The mundane thought being a particular mundane song. Anyone here likes mundane music? Don't answer that. Okay. All the time. And the title of the song was Heartbreak Hotel. And I later came to, for me, it was a Whitney Houston song. Apparently for others it was an Elvis Presley song. Anyone here likes Elvis Presley? Okay. So Elvis Presley had a song, Heartbreak Hotel. This is the case? One, Kaviraj Goswami, he's one of the spiritual preceptors in our line. He said, truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. Generally, not anyone here eloquent speaker? I'm not. Generally we tend to run on and on and on and on, and everyone in the class is like struggling. Truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. Here's a very eloquent statement, Heartbreak Hotel. To describe the whole nature of the material world and experience. The hotel part describes the nature of the material world. It's temporary, right? Just like any of you ever went on a road trip, maybe in the nighttime and the distance is a little far, so you have to pull over by the side and take, and what do they call it? The rest, not the rest area, the hotel, what do they call it? Lounging, right? The lounge and the signs. So it's a little bit far distance, so you pull over and you lounge for the night, right? So when you get to the hotel, you don't start making plans like, oh, the decor here is really bad. I need to, the curtains are not right, the couch is not right, the feng shui is not good here. So you start like adjusting everything around. You don't do any of that. Even the hotel is crap. You just like, anyway, I'm here for a night only, I sleep and I go, right? So it's a very temporary passing experience, right? After you get out, after you finish sleeping, you don't go to the hotel owner and say, the decor was very bad. I really didn't appreciate the couch being on the left side of the room. It should have been on the right side. You don't care, you just leave. It's a very temporary experience, right? You don't take it very seriously. So similarly, the nature of the material world is that we're just passing through it, right? We pass through it, and of course we live for some years, maybe up to 50. They say we're growing older, but that's a lie. Maybe after 50 years we'll be living up to 50 or 30 like that. And then one dies. So it's a very temporary experience we're just passing through. The difference between the hotel and our life experience is that we take everything here very seriously, right? We are passing through, but we get very attached to things, and we will take it very seriously, even though we're just passing through, right? So this is the nature of the material world. It's temporary. And the experience in the material world is heartbreak, right? So this statement of Elvis, Srimad Elvis Presley, is very cogent, right? Heartbreak Hotel. The nature of the material world is temporary, like passing through a hotel, and the experience in the material world is quite miserable. Because as we're passing through the hotel, we're getting attached to many things. Anyone here experiences attachments to relationships, to friends, to objects? Some devotees here are moving recently, and they're like, oh, so many things. Oh, what to keep. And you get attached. And then when those things are snatched away from you, the experience is heartbreak, isn't it? And we have this experience. So, so naturally, who would want to continue their existence in such an environment? Anyone here would be happy to continue their existence in such an environment where you have to experience transience and heartbreak continuously? But even though this is the case, most of the souls in this world don't desire to get out. This is the amazing thing about it. I think Srimad Einstein, he's coined for quoting that insanity means to try the same thing in the same way and get a different result. Right? So anyone here insane? Don't answer that. It's obvious, right? So this is the nature of the entities in this material world. They're all crazy. Rishabdev says the same thing. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. Yanindriya pritaya aprinoti. The living entities in this world, he says they're pramatta. Matta means crazy. And pramatta means damn crazy. They're really crazy living entities. And why are they crazy? That indriya pritaya aprinoti. Because they have a strong desire to exploit the resources in this material world. Even though their experience and their attempt to do so is miserable, they can't give it up. This is the nature of the material tabernacle. We're trapped, so we're all crazy, and therefore, although we're experiencing suffering again and again and again, from the Vyasa Puja presentation, one more time, right? One more time, again and again, we don't give it up. Just like, practical example, not practical, well, it depends on if you watch MTV or not. When I was growing up, we would watch these TV shows, and there would be a star, they would fall into love with some personality who was also happened to be a superstar. And they would write a song about, a love song, right? I love you, I want to be with you, I miss you, some stupid song would be there. I'm not going to sing it, dude, it's ridiculous stuff. But it would be heavy rock and roll, heavy drums, and then that song will go gold record, Like it was like the stupidest words, but, crazy living entities in Kali Yuga. So it would go gold. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, we would break up with this superstar. And then he would write another record, maybe about killing her, or about, or about how, one song that would come up again and again and again is, I'll never do this again. That would be the name of the song. I'll never do this again. And then 3 weeks later, he has a new girlfriend. And, and then another love song. And then he breaks up, and then another song about how he's going to kill her or something. That record, by the way, will go double platinum, right? Because that's the more common experience in the material world. So this is the nature of material existence. It's quite miserable, it's temporary, and the experience is heartbreaking. Although that is our experience in the material world, we don't desire to give it up. This is the most extraordinary thing. So we're crazy. So to that, Krishna gives a response in chapter 3, verse 37. He begins his response as to why we don't try to why, although unwilling to continue such a miserable existence, we do so anyway. And his answer, everyone is knowing. You can repeat after me. Kama esha, krodha esha, Raja guna samubhava, Mahashano Mahapatma Vidyenam Ihaverinam. So Krishna says here, the reason for our continuing in this insane life is due to lust only. And he gives a certain adjective for lust, Mahashano. He calls lust the great devourer. Devourer means one who has a huge appetite. Just like when you're fasting all day from Janmashtami, then you sit for prasada and you become the great devourer of heaps and heaps of foodstuffs. So lust is the great devourer. What does it devour? It devours the living entity's pure consciousness. It eats away his pure existence. Rajaguna, the word kama generally means desire. And the idea here in context is the strong desire for exploitation. This material world is compared to a prison house. And generally when you go into a prison house, you get a certain, what do you call it? A prison suit, right? Usually the decoration is not so nice. It's usually a brahmachari color, in fact. Orange, or usually like orange color, saffron, like that. So brahmacharis were all prisoners, right? So they usually get a prison suit, and that identifies them as entities of the prison house. So also, this material world is compared to a prison house. And our prison suit is our particular bodies that we have. We do a good job of decorating it very nicely, right? Make sure it's got nice oils, it smells good, everything looks good, right? But it's actually a prison suit. And the nature of this prison suit is that it is suited for exploitation. Kama. Kama means here the desire for exploitation. So just like if you want to go scuba diving, deep sea, that's not recommended. But if you have such strong desire to go scuba diving, then you need a scuba suit. And that makes it easy for you to go deep into the water. And then you can see sharks and the colorful fish and all these things like that. So similarly, we want to exist in this environment. Then you get a uniform, a scuba suit, so to speak, that allows you to exist in the environment. That scuba suit happens to be our material body, our gross body and our mind. This is our body that we have for exploiting the material nature. So there's great desire for enjoyment in this material world, isn't it? Anyone can account for that? A very powerful desire to so even though we have experience that the material world is totally miserable, threefold miseries caused by others, is the prominent one, at least in our consciousness. Still, we don't desire to give it up due to the great desire to enjoy. Who has this experience? Great desire to enjoy in the material world? Yes, isn't it? A great desire to enjoy. We don't desire to give it up. So Krishna said it is due to this great desire, and when that desire is frustrated, let me double back. Where does this desire come from? It comes from the soul contacting the mode of passion. Krishna speaks about the different modes of nature. I don't have time to go into a delineation of that right now. But the nature of the mode of passion is that it creates great hankering in the heart. And when there's great hankering in the heart, the next thing you do is endeavor hard to achieve that particular desire, that great hankering, right? So then, and when that desire is not satisfied, then one comes down to ignorance. From passion to ignorance. What is the nature of ignorance? One becomes destructive, right? This is the nature. So I'll give a simple example that is maybe deemed appropriate for the audience. Who here likes pizza parties? Anyone here likes pizza parties? Come on, even the Indians like. Okay, we'll say pizza for the Westerners, matcha paneer for the Indians, okay? A matcha paneer party doesn't really seem suitable, but anyway. So there's pizza party is the best. At least amongst devotees, pizza party really is effective. Pizza party and carob cake, wonderful. Because we don't eat chocolate, so we take carob. So there's a pizza party, there's a carob cake. And so suppose you've been out all day working really, really hard, and you come to hear that there's a pizza party, so you're really excited. Wow, I'm going to go back, I'm going to enjoy pizza and this carob cake. And you get there, and there's one slice left. And all the devotees that look like they had a great time, woo! I'm on my fourth slice, Okay, I'm not going to be envious, I'm not going to be, at least there's one for me. So you're on your way walking over to the one slice, and right before you reach out to get it, another devotee grabs it and puts it in his mouth and runs away. Then what happens? You go down to ignorance. You chase after him. You want that pizza for yourself. You go down to ignorance and you become destructive, right? Now, with a devotee, you're not going to hit him or anything like that, but you might yell at him a lot and say that's very selfish and so on. In the material world, when there's frustration of desire, the general tendency is either to become self-destructive or destructive of others. Particularly in the boy-girl relationship, which is a prominent, Prabhupada says passion means man associates with woman, woman associates with man. When there's frustration of that particular desire, then people become very destructive. They either destroy others, that's an unfortunate reality, or they become self-destructive, they become depressed, they just start eating and eating and eating and eating and eating and eating, and then, or something, watching MTV, eating and eating. This is really bad for your consciousness. They become destructive. So this is due to the great desire to enjoy, the great desire to exploit. And unfortunately, this atmosphere is outside of our control. So the desire to exploit is naturally frustrated because you're not in control of it. Krishna has a really good situation. When he wants pizza and carrot cake, boom, it's right there. He can just have it. It's called the Satya Sankalpa Shakti of Krishna. He wants pizza, wow, I can have so many pizzas. Carrot cake, there it is. When we want pizza, we got to go in the kitchen, pull out the dough, roll it. So much problem is there. The environment is outside of our control. So the desire to exploit necessarily leads to sorrow. And this desire destroys the consciousness. So then in the next verse, Krishna describes the effects of lust. He says, as fire is covered by smoke, as a mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of lust. So the idea of this verse is severe, more severe, most severe. You understand? The fire, the smoke, fire covered by smoke means severe. Right? The mirror covered by the dust means more severe. And the embryo covered by the womb means most severe. So Srila Prabhupada compares this to two things in the purport. He says that the embryo covered by the womb is compared to living entities who are completely ignorant of the material world, the actual nature of the material world. So they just go on trying to pursue material sense gratification. The mirror covered by the dust is compared to persons who have realized the nature of the material world, and they're trying to purify their existence through some process of spiritual purification. So how many people here could maybe account for being at that platform? Oh, okay, so you're in the other one, huh? You're just complete ignorance. And then fire covered by smoke is compared to those who are kindling their Krishna consciousness. They're awakening to the true nature of their souls. And so in other words, to the degree we are in ignorance, to that degree we can understand that we are lusty. And how is that indicated? It's indicated by our attraction to the material world. So then, describing the effects of lust further, Krishna says, this lust has three effects. This verse always scared me when I read it. Three effects are there. The first effect is that it covers one's pure knowledge. Right? This is the first effect of ignorance, is that your pure knowledge becomes covered. So you don't even know that the material world is miserable. It looks totally harmless, right? Nothing's wrong at all. It's just like a jewel cobra. You see the jewel, you don't see the cobra part. So the jewel is shining, ring, 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 ring. Oh, and you go over to take the jewel, and what happens? The cobra comes and strikes you. So he doesn't even know that the nature of the material world. And so that's okay, he doesn't know. All right, ignorance is bliss. All right, so it's okay. So then the second effect Krishna mentions is that it creates a burning sensation in his heart to enjoy. Now that's like mean. Right? First, you don't know the material world is miserable. Then the second effect is this burning sensation to enjoy it comes in the heart. Right? So that burning sensation means dissatisfaction. Right? It is the dissatisfaction of the soul that causes him to continue to pursue the external world. How many here are feeling dissatisfied? At least sometimes of the day. Wow, I'm dealing with a lot of self-realized sages, huh? Everyone here is self-realized? So you cannot relate, therefore you're like, I don't understand what is going on. Huh? So this dissatisfaction means I'm feeling that there's something outside of me that if I acquire it, it will make me complete. And therefore, one goes on pursuing that which is outside oneself over and over again. This will make me complete, and you get it. Oh, that doesn't make me complete, you throw it away. This will make me, you get it. Oh, that's not working, throw it away. You have this experience, on and on and on and on. What is that coming from? It's coming from the burning sensation in the heart. This is the nature of lust, or the nature of the mode of passion. Now, the last effect is most cruel. So there's ignorance that the material world is going to bite, and there's a burning sensation in the heart that causes you to pursue it. And then the third effect Christian mentions is that it is never satisfied. So this is a most cruel situation. That you attempt to satisfy it, but it is not satisfied even in the slightest. There's a nice verse from the Shastras, Kama dina katina katita palita durni deshas. Tesham jata mayina karuna natrapo no pashanti. This devotee is praying that there is no end to the wanted orders of my lusty desires. Isn't it? You have experience? There is no end to the unwanted orders of my lusty desires. They have not shown me any mercy. Even though I've tried to satisfy them again and again and again, there has been no mercy they have shown me. Nor have I felt ashamed to serve them, nor have I desired to give them up. This is his situation. Prabhupada says that this lust, nitya verina, is the greatest enemy of the soul. And what is that enemy? That enemy is when you get the sense gratification that you're looking for, it produces a feeling that says, oh, this is nice, right? Oh, this is really good. And that feeling is the greatest enemy of the soul. Prabhupada says this thing. That feeling is the greatest enemy of the soul. So how do we get out of this lusty situation? This is the most important thing to understand. What is the nature of spiritual knowledge that is going to bring us out of the lusty situation? The lusty situation is on account of kama, right? The material desire. So generally, the spiritual paths that are popular in the world today, they recommend a destruction of desire in order to make spiritual advancement, right? Like the Buddhists. The Buddhists say become zero. Or the Mayavadis say become God. That's nice. And in this way, by destroying desire, I can make spiritual advancement. But in Christian consciousness, we say rather we should use the desire to come out of the material world. You understand? This makes sense. Prabhupada gives a nice example of a young boy, he's sick. And so his father takes him to a doctor and said, my boy is having fever, can you get rid of the fever? And so the doctor says, yes, I will get rid of the fever. So he takes one syringe, one of them scary looking needles. I don't know if sometimes they put butterflies on them also. But it's still scary, for any conscious kid. And they stick the needle inside so the doctor stick the needle inside the kid, and then the kid died. And then the father came back. This Prabhupada is telling us a joke, by the way. This is not a true life story. I can see how it could be in Kali Yuga, but it's not a true life story. Prabhupada tells us a joke. So he sticks the needle in the kid, and the kid dies. So the father comes back, and the doctor says fever is cured. So the father is shaking his kid, Oh, my kid is dead. He said, but is the fever gone? Huh? You brought fever gone? The father said, yeah, fever is gone. But fever is gone. I did my job. But the kid is dead. So this is like the paths of Buddhism and other paths of yoga. They try to kill the desire. But unfortunately, that is not possible. It is not possible for the living entity to become a dead stone. In fact, the desire to be desireless is a desire. This is the trick. It's a desire. I remember catching that even when I was reading these books. I was like, but if I want to be desireless, isn't that itself a desire? So you can't actually get out of desire. So that means desire is either the cause of misery. Let me say it another way. It's not that the desire is a problem. It's what we are desiring. You understand? It is what we desire. We desire things which are sources of misery. And that is what is causing our tabernacle in the material world. And if you want to get out of the material world, you just have to stop desiring that. But it's not so easy. In the process of cultivating Krishna consciousness, we try to be good spiritualists. We want to have the good desire. We come up to the deities of the Lord and we try to pray very sincerely, isn't it? My dear Lord, please give me pure devotion to your lotus feet. And then Krishna starts taking away this and taking away that. And you go back to Krishna, wait a minute. I want the pure desire, but, give me a couple of years. Let me go through it gradually. It's a gradual process. Christian, don't be fanatical. Right? In other words, although there's a little bit of inkling of desire to advance spiritually, it is not very strong. It is something like fasting for Ekadashi, right? But many of us probably don't do that. But you may have the experience of, okay, I'm going to fast for the Ekadashi. Anyone ever tried that out? Like, today I'm going to fast for the Ekadashi. Okay, I'll tell my own experience. And sometimes I'll think, okay, today I'm going to fast for the Ekadashi. And the day I fast for Ekadashi, in the morning time they make French fries. And I really like French fries. So when I see the French fries, I say, I'll fast for Ekadashi next time. And then next time, okay, Ekadashi's coming, okay, I'm going to fast for the Ekadashi. I go downstairs, and then they make French fries again. Okay, I'll do the next Ekadashi. And like this, it goes on. And finally, I say, okay, forget fasting for Ekadashi. I'm just going to take an Ekadashi. And the day I decide to come for prasadam on Ekadashi, that day they don't make French fries. Oh, what is this? The day I decide, okay, I give up the fasting thing also. I'll go on Ekadashi and have my French fries. That day also they don't make French fries. Oh, this is the nature of the material world. So the problem with the living entity is not desire. Most spiritual paths are saying, stop desire, become unconscious, and then you'll solve your problem. But the problem is not the desire. The problem is what we are desiring. And after we recognize that point, the problem is getting a strong enough desire to get the spiritual and release ourselves from being gripped by our material desires. That was my Ekadashi story. I have a desire to fast for Ekadashi, but the desire is not very strong. So it only takes a little bit of something here, a little bit of something there, and then I'm finished. So oftentimes we see ourselves trying to improve spiritually, but because our desire for Krishna is not very strong, it doesn't work out. Right? This is the dilemma. Oftentimes people have a misconception that spiritual knowledge means feeling good. Right? You come to the Sunday feast discussion, you go to a spiritual talk, and you want to hear something that makes you feel good, feel like, partying or something. Like that. People have this idea. If you hear some good principles, something about how to regulate your life, why do you want to regulate your life? So I can enjoy better. Right? It's not for something deeply spiritual, so I can enjoy more effectively, right? Why do I want to be peaceful? Because if I'm not peaceful, I won't be able to enjoy effectively, right? I need a peaceful mind to do my sense gratification, otherwise it's too disturbing. So oftentimes we get this misunderstanding that spiritual knowledge means something that's going to help me to enjoy my mind and senses in a more effective way. But actually, spiritual knowledge is all about getting the desire to serve Krishna. That's all spiritual life is in sum and substance, is getting a strong enough desire for playing with Krishna and the spiritual reality. That is the sum and substance of spiritual cultivation. But we often experience that we're not able to do so. Right? We may even know this point, but we don't have that strong a desire for Krishna consciousness. Who has experience of that? No strong desire. Sometimes I'm going to chant determinedly, japa. You got to do like this also, because it's a fight against Maya, right? Prabhupada says it's a fight, so you got to be in that fight mode. Imagine yourself like a sword or something. And then you stick your hand and japa bead back. And then I'll be determined tomorrow. You cannot hold the determination. Not even for one day you can hold the determination. Or sometimes, so many things. We know what we're struggling with. So why don't we have a strong enough desire for attaining the spiritual? And the problem is because we don't associate enough with Krishna. So just hearing about the material world is not actually sufficient. The miseries of the material world we know by practical experience. But just hearing about the material world is not sufficient for gaining the impetus for spiritual development. If we want to gain stronger impetus for spiritual development, we have to hear more about Krishna, about what makes Krishna so wonderful, what makes the spiritual world so wonderful. And as you associate more with Krishna, then your desire, associate more with Krishna means through hearing about Krishna and the association of saintly persons and chanting Krishna's glories. And that way you get a stronger desire to be with Krishna. It's just like hearing about the Bahamas, for example, or the Caribbean or something like that, some Cancun. You all know about these places, right? What are these places like? Anyone can say? Paradise? Paradise. So how many of people here have been there? One person or two persons? Okay, three persons. Now, how many of us, be honest, would like to go there? Or at least you're thinking like that, mental concoction. You're thinking you'd like to go there. And why would we like to go there? Because we've heard about the Bahamas, right? It is like this, it is like that. Ooh. When you hear about it, you start speculating, oh, I can do this and I can do that. You get really excited because you heard about the Bahamas, right? So that hearing is so powerful, isn't it? Just by hearing about the Bahamas, you get a desire to go to the Bahamas or the Caribbean, Cancun, or whatever. So similarly, when we associate more with Krishna, by hearing about Krishna, we get a desire for wanting to go to Krishna, right? So the essence of spiritual life is about augmenting our desire for Krishna. That means availing ourselves to those vibrations which will help fuel that desire. But yet, in the modern world, we don't have time to spend with Krishna, isn't it? So this is our dilemma. This is our insanity. On the one hand, we say we want spiritual life. On the other hand, we don't have time to do the things which are going to help us get spiritual life. Right? When it comes to material diseases, anyone here had like chicken pox or anything like that, like a material disease? When you have a material disease, you become very fired up to go to the doctor, right? Very enthusiastic. Why? Because you can see how that disease is an impediment to my sense gratification, right? So you become very enthusiastic to remove the disease. But yet we are suffering from a spiritual disease. What is that spiritual disease? We don't want to hear anything about Krishna. We don't want to talk about him. We find the topics very boring and dull. We don't have anything to do with his holy name. We don't have anything to do with his devotees sometimes, half the time. It is a spiritual disease. And yet, we will not avail ourselves to the processes which will help remove the disease. Why? Because I don't have time, right? So this is the problem. This is the disease of the modern age. We don't have time. The things which are going to help us come out of the material tabernacle, we don't accept. We don't avail ourselves to on account of lack of time, lack of determination. So who here is interested in going back to the spiritual world? See, now all the hands are going up. See, this is evidence. There's evidence what I'm saying. I'm interested in going back to spirit. I don't have time. Because I have to go to work, I got this and this and this, and so many things we have to do. So in this way, we remain in the material world. But if you're interested in actually going back to the spiritual reality, then it's just a matter of augmenting the desire. They say first deserve, then desire, right? You've heard this before? First deserve, then desire. But when do you deserve it? Then, as we've heard, when the desire is strong enough, then you deserve to go back. First deserve, then desire. First deserve, then desire. Doesn't mean let me do this, and then I'll deserve to go back to the spiritual world. Right? Sometimes this is another misconception. If I'm doing so many things, then the Supreme Lord owes me one. Right? I'm chanting, I'm hearing, I'm doing so many things. So Krishna, just like sometimes when we chant our first 16 rounds, or we go to a japa retreat, we chant our first 64 rounds, then we think that Krishna owes us some bliss now, right? All right? You know, you shoot it out as fast as you can, and 64 rounds come, and you're like, where's my bliss? Where's my prema? I've been doing this for years, where's my prema? We think Krishna owes us one. But it's not that we deserve because we did so many things in Krishna consciousness. I heard so many classes, I chanted so many rounds, I did so much of association, therefore I deserve. That is not when you deserve it. You deserve it when the desire is strong enough. When Krishna sees your desire for it, that time you deserve it. You understand? So the whole idea of chanting many rounds, hearing again and again every day, the whole idea is to augment the desire for Krishna. And when the desire is strong enough, then you'll deserve it. You'll deserve entry into the spiritual reality. So don't be mistaken that just by doing the rituals of spiritual life, that itself is indicative of spiritual advancement. but rather you have to analyze how strong my desire for Krishna is coming, comma, is the desire for exploitation transformed into the desire for service. And through hearing, through chanting, through association, you have to examine your inner life and see if that desire is actually evolving. And if you see that desire is evolving more and more, then you deserve it. You'll deserve to see Krishna face to face. You understand my simple message here? But if you don't make time to avail yourself to the things which will feed your desire, then you remain insane. What is insanity? Trying the same thing in the same way and expecting a different result. What is a different result? Happiness. Because the result we're getting most of the time is misery. So if we want to finish our insanity and come back to a sane position, then we have to augment our desire, and that can be easily done just through the processes of hearing and chanting about Krishna. Otherwise, there's no hope for leaving our crazy position in the material world. So at 6:25, does anyone want to ask anything see if anyone else, any guests are there? Anyone wants to inquire? Oh, okay, so it's time first. Okay, you can say something.
What's the most effective way to increase our desire to obtain Krishna, to be with Krishna?
That's all you mentioned. In short, you have to hear about Krishna. And the more you hear about Krishna, the more you get attracted to Krishna. Just like the rise of the Yajna Brahmanas. They never saw Krishna. Or Rukmini, she never saw Krishna, but she had a strong desire to be with Krishna. Why did she get a strong desire? Because she was always hearing about Krishna from the sages who would visit the palace. And through the process of hearing about Krishna, her attraction to Krishna evolved. So one has to make time for hearing more and more about Krishna. Not just about spiritual principles, but about Krishna himself directly. And then you get a desire for Krishna. Like that. It's a simple thing. Yes.
We go up and down, our desire increases, but sometimes it has happened to me, I chant 16 rounds, but sometimes I go...
I don't want to chant.
Yeah.
I don't chant.
Oh, no, don't chant, no, but less rounds, less surrendered to Krishna and things like that. Not reading, like, I don't want to read today.
So why does that happen?
Yeah, why? Apparently we should be like increasing instead of decreasing, and it's like cyclic.
There's different stages of devotional development. Anyway, one stage is called not fixed, another stage is called fixed. So then the not fixed stage is due to a disturbance in the heart. And the disturbance in the heart is just so many desires to enjoy. So you'll notice is that there's two types of people who are happy in this world. Those who are ignorant, they're happy. Ignorance is bliss, right? And those who are enlightened, they are happy. The person who is miserable is a sadhaka, the practitioner. He is miserable. Why? Because he still has attraction to enjoying material desires, but he's told he can't do it. And he's also not enlightened, so he is a miserable person. Right? So the ignorant person is doing sense gratification, the enlightened person is chanting Hare Krishna blissfully, and the sadhaka is also chanting Hare Krishna but miserable. Because the desires in the heart. So the desires in the heart make us unsteady. Right? Because we want to pursue. We have a body that's suited for exploitation. So we naturally want to exploit. That's what the body is for, right? It's just like if you have a submarine, you want to use it, right? I mean, no one should have a submarine, but suppose you have a submarine or a scuba gear or something. Then it's like, I got a scuba gear, I got to use it at least sometimes, right? So you have this body that's suited for exploitation. So naturally, the desire comes to exploit on account of identifying with the body. So then it's very hard to give up the desire, and therefore, as we're trying to do spiritual practices which are based on complete non-exploitation, that's a totally foreign ground for the living entity. Non-exploitation? You mean I'm not going to get anything out of it? So therefore, on account of that experience, he's not attracted to the spiritual side, and the material side, he's just resisting, although he's very attracted to it. And on account of that, there's unsteadiness in his practice. So what do we do? Keep chanting Hare Krishna. And in order to protect us from our tendency to, how you say? The spirit is, how does that saying go? The Krishna saying? Huh? The spirit is willing and the flesh is weak. Huh? The spirit is weak and the flesh is willing. So on account of this experience, then we keep ourselves in the proper sangha to help us protect ourselves from lapses or tendency to exploit. And we try to move forward like that. There will continue to be unsteadiness though until we make spiritual advancement, until the desires are killed in the heart. Like that. Okay, anyone else? Final thing? Final say?
Would it come with the initiation that would help or something? No?
It's nice to think like that. You know, we could say that to encourage everyone to take initiation. But it is taught that it depends on the practitioner. It depends on his willings, his actual surrender at the time of initiation, the effect he gets from it. Many persons want to take initiation because they want to connect their name to some great personality. And because they're connected to some great personality, that makes them great also. So on account of this type of idea, it happens all the time in the material world. They just want to be connected to something great. Jai, Shri Kishore Kishore. So when they take initiation with that type of mentality, then they may not experience the destruction of material desires. Now there are other persons who may be sincere in their approach to the initiation, but still initiation is just the beginning. Initiation means beginning, right? So now you're just starting off. So it's going to take some time to extinguish the material desires. But through the initiation, through that commitment to a spiritual relationship, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that will make your practice strong if you actually feel that relationship in a real way. Otherwise, it's just a formal thing and it has no meaning at all. So initiation can help if you take it seriously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to be more committed, therefore...
Okay, so then with the more commitment, then you make progress step by step. So it's not like, I'm initiated, where's my desirelessness? I remember reading one purport in the 4th canto, where Srila Prabhupada, he mentions that my disciples have asked me that after becoming Krishna conscious, why have I become sick? And Prabhupada said, my nonsense disciples don't realize even their spiritual master is getting sick. So like this, in other words, we have a material notion that, oh, if I take initiation, that everything will be, the slate is clean, right? And I'll be flying on cloud 9. Actually, the general experience is that after initiation, you realize how messed up you are, right? That's the general experience, right? It's just like when I first came and I took initiation, I was like, I'm going back to Godhead, definitely. You know, it was like a party, like, you know, I'm definitely going back to Godhead, and no one's going to stop me. I can't believe other people laughed, you know, definitely. It was such an easy thing. Then after 5 years, I was like, I'm wondering if I'm going back to Godhead. Because I became more aware of how messed up I actually was, the types of horrible thoughts that come, the abominable things. So I was like, after 5 years, I was like, I'm wondering if I'll go. I think I can still make it, but there's a little bit of doubt coming up. And then after 10 years, I'm like, definitely I'm not going back to God. I mean it as a joke, because then that may make you discouraged. Like, I'm definitely, what's the use then? I'm not meaning to make discouraged. I'm making a joke that after initiation, there's a step-by-step development. So therefore, you will experience in the beginning, just like cleaning your house. Anyone here ever tried to clean their house? I know it's probably a rare occasion, but sometimes it happens. You try to clean your house or you clean your room. So when you try to clean your house, the very first thing you experience that it looks more messed up than when you started, right? You move everything around, and you're like, man, why did I do this? You feel discouraged. But actually it's getting more clean. But it looks like it's getting worse. But you keep cleaning, then it gets better, right? So similarly, when we're cleaning out our consciousness, the first thing that's going to happen is you get aware of how many nasty things are in the heart. But then don't get discouraged. Sometimes it happens to spiritual practitioners. They see that, they get discouraged. What is the use? But don't get discouraged. Rather, taking association and continuing your fight with Maya, continue the process. And then things start to clear up more and more and more. So my point is that initiation, don't expect the next day you're going to be waking up flying on cloud 9, you know, prema, you know, and dancing around and rolling on the ground, and you're stunned sometimes, tears shooting out of the eyes like syringes, rolling on the ground, and don't think it's going to happen like that. Generally, you'll notice that a lot of spiritual practitioners, they look a little sad. One time, this is Srila Prabhupada's story. I think this is Srila Prabhupada's story, or some devotee story anyway. They one time invited a scholar to come see the devotees and their spiritual practices. You know, he heard that chant Hare Krishna and be happy, right? So this scholar came during the japa period. You know, chant and be happy, right? So the scholar came during the japa period, and what did he see? You know, some devotees may have been crying also, but now on account of ecstasy, on account of why I have to do this. So then the devotees realized maybe he got the wrong idea after he left, you know, chanting Hare Krishna and be happy. Don't expect you'll be flying on cloud 9, but expect that you'll gain an initial jump start, a jump enthusiasm for making step-by-step progress. Now the rest of your spiritual life depends on what you do with it. Like that. Okay, so thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Are you depressed? Are you depressed? Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaha Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Bhakti Vedanta
प्रचारिणे हे विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare
그래. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. What is the real use of?
This one is better. I think yours is better. I don't know. Is it like an octave lower? This one is like losing juice.
What is lower?
Not lower. No, I don't know.
This is
lower.
good.
Is this a little lower? Is this a little lower than it is? One step lower? So we're playing there. Okay. I know they already chanted this, but chant it again. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Loudly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Help out, loudly chant. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh! Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Another missing. Mother Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, I got it. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Where's my choir? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, ready? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hey, raise the hands. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hello! Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Jai 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 Radhe Jai 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 Radhe Jai 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 Radhe This last key gets stuck, huh? It would be bewildering me, you know.